Well, this week it's about the young ladies up there in Kansas. You know, Miss Emery is what I like to call her, and Miss Jaylee, my daughter, are going to be going after big bucks in Kansas. And let me tell you something, these girls haven't been hunting a long time, but they've been hunting long enough. They know what they want, they know what they're going to go after, and hey, you can't talk them out of it.
We just rode into Kansas, got groceries, and now we're going to just, we got to get her a license. We have the tag, but we're here and got to get that license. Just making sure, I actually even called the wildlife department, just make sure we're legal. I always like to do that, not just read the stuff. I want to talk to someone, and so I made sure that I only have to have an orange hat as I'm with her, and then we found out that she needs a license today. So we're going to get that, and we'll roll on. We are running probably a little behind, but I'm getting excited now. It's 4 o'clock, the day before opening day in Kansas, youth season. It's exciting. Out here hunting, it's not the easiest to stay eating clean, and this can cooker really helps you eat clean. I mean, you can, you know, just pressure cook this stuff that's just makes it really way better for you instead of frying a bunch of stuff up, and it's just as simple. You just got to get it in here and then walk away from it, basically. All right, little barrel racing game here. So your feet can't touch the ground on this one. If your feet come off the pedals, it's 5 seconds. If you touch a barrel, then it's 10 seconds. No. Here we go. Go. That horse is green. Green. 25.28. All right, go, Jay. I know. All right, see if you can beat 25-28. On your mark. Get set, go. .26.08. Yeah, quarter second, so you're 25.75. I beat you by half a second.
We're going over to Josh's so I can go shoot my gun and make sure it's still on before we go hunt tonight. I'm super excited because it's the first time I'm gonna get to hunt this year, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, fire in the hole.
Bring about just a smidgen high.
Okay. All right, so 5 inches left. That's a shooting little gun right there, CBA. She's killed every one of her deer with it. She's gonna kill another with it because she's just 103 yards. She held a really good group, and then we just had to move that scope a little bit. Oh! You know, last year, Jaylee came up here and we all had high expectations of a really big deer, and it was tough. You know, Randy and Josh found us some land at the last second, and Jaylee, you know, she passed a lot of great deer.
I didn't rely on Dad as much last year, and so I kind of had higher expectations, and it kind of cost me. So I learned.
Look, right there. Jay, get on him. I don't know what he is yet. He's in full velvet, Jaylee. He's 135.
He's not 140 or above.
So took it down to the wire, and we shot not a high-scoring deer, but an old deer that we were very proud of. Jaylee was very proud of. I was proud of her.
I think so.
Sharpshooter, he be down.
That is so awesome. Your first Kansas buck, baby. She learned so much, you know, things that we already knew, but I think we take for granted, and that's just the journey. We learned it's about the journey, didn't we, baby? It's so much about the journey and not the kill. We get caught up sometimes in the kill, don't we, huh?
Yeah.
And we learned that it's not, and maybe we already knew it, but we just God had to remind us, didn't he?
Yeah.
We're still going after a big deer. You know, we're going into a spot that's got some really good deer, and Jaylee has just told me on this trip that she's wanting to learn.
I think this year in Kansas is going to be different because I'm kind of just depending on Dad and letting him, you know, just kind of help me with this because I'm still learning, and he has had a ton of experience, and so I think it'll go better this year because of that.
I like that better on this trip because Jaylee's just going to get to be and hunt, but she's going to learn too. That's what she wants. She wants to learn every year to become a better hunter. So it's hot. The weather has warmed up, but we're going to try to smile. We're actually going into a 15-foot elevated shooting house tonight. So it's going to be tight quarters. We're going to sweat. Mosquitoes are going to be in there. And I've just got my fingers crossed. I can't really cross my fingers unless I do that. But really just whatever the good Lord has in store, we're ready for it. I don't know how much this helps hide you from the deer, but it's, even as a grown man, it's fun to get painted up. I think I'll do it. I got some kill 'em look for tonight. You got the gloves on this side. I got it where you can't get in this side, man.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go kill something. I think we did, yeah.
Me too. So we just got here to open the gate, and it's a combination lock, and Ted doesn't know the combination.
Yeah, okay. All right, thanks, Josh. All right, bye. It's Christmas. All right, Jay.
So what we've done, we've come in off this road. We got a wind blowing like this, south, southeast, all right? And there's no telling what's back here, but what I know from the covert cameras is food plot back here. We got 5 shooters coming to that. And we got that south wind. And so we're gonna come loop around and follow this old 2 track and come into that blind with that wind in our face. Now, could we booger a deer? Yes, because every bit of this is bedding. But I got just something in my head that's saying those deer, there's a big slough in a pond, and it's all south of that blind. And with it hot like this, I think that might be where they be, but that's the plan. Let's go. We're in a spot, if we could fly in here, we're in this blind 15 foot up. I think it could be really, really good. But walking in with the wind, it did hit some bedding areas. Now, I don't think it hit the bedding areas where I think this buck's at. So we'll just have to see. I mean, there's 4 or 5 shooters here. This is a really good farm. I mean, there's just so much bedding. This food plot's, you know, it's come up a little bit in places, so I think they'll be out on it.
It's hot.
It is hot. We're sweating if you don't see that. we still got lots of time, but it you know, always when you see the first deer, it makes you know that some deer up on their feet. It's hot, God, it's hot. There's nowhere in this blind, but really the only way you can hunt this spot is just come in and conceal ourselves.
So we just saw some more coons, and earlier we saw some coons, but we don't have very much time left, and we only saw one doe and a bunch of coons, so I'm not very happy. There's a doe right over there. Dad, look right over here.
That's a shooter. Get your gun. Get your gun.
Well, guys, I'm standing right where the first time we laid eyes on this big 9-point. You know, going into the keys to what make this hunt successful, and the keys that we were going into this hunt with is, number one, the covert camera Randy and Josh had this food plot and established it with, you know, putting 4S out, having the food plot, and we got pictures of a great buck. So listening to Randy, Josh, looking at those pictures, we knew that we had a target buck in, a big 9-point, maybe a 5 or 6 year old.
Okay, it's a big buck. It's a big shooter.
All back this way. There's slough and there's water, a pond, and it's nice and thick brush. And we just had a gut feeling that this buck was laying back there. You know, a lot of times when he approached the camera coming in this food plot, this is where he come in at. And so it was showing us that he was laying back here. So then what we had to do, we had to make sure our access was right. There was an access from the road you could walk right in, simple but close. But I knew that's probably not the way we should do. We should come in with a pickup, park way back to the west, and come in with that wind in our face, banking on this buck to be bedding back here. Come almost through a lot of the bedding area, walk right through a lot of the bedding area, but knowing in our mind this buck's here. We walked into the shooting house.
Yep, you hit him.
Dad, look right over here.
Jay, you know what it is? How big is it? 155, maybe 160.
Hello? Guess what, guys?
What?
I just killed a really big deer.
No way!
Yes.
A big one?
Yeah.
The very first night?
I know.
We ain't found him yet, though.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome!
I know.
Congratulations!
Thank you so much.
In this bedding area, so many cedars, so much flat ground here, the thermals and everything, I knew the wind was going to be everywhere. And that's what put us in a shooting house that was 17 foot off the ground. We opened just a few windows and we just suffered through it. 3.5 hours of miserable, probably 120 degrees in that blind, I don't know. But that is the keys to this, is making sure we didn't let our air just go all around and just banking on this deer being here. High five, sis. I tell you what, I don't get no prettier than that, does it, babe?
Nope.
No, we got a little smoke coming up right here because we got this thermocell because the mosquitoes are eating us up. But this is an absolute giant for one thing, and it's in velvet. It was in full velvet when you shot this deer. There was no blood on him, and he hit this fence running off 60 yards from where she shot him. And that's what really made me go after him. I would not have went after this deer, Jay, I don't know if you realize that, if I wouldn't heard that fence. Because the way he reacted, I think what you did is you double lunged him, but you shot him a little high, and he just a bump, and he didn't kick.
It means a lot. I'm kind of at a loss for words.
You cried out, aren't you?
Yeah, my tears are, I've already cried them, so I can't.
I'm proud of you, girl. I'm so proud of you, and that is a beautiful, beautiful deer. Look at the eye guards on him, a big 9, and Randy and Josh, you know.
Thank y'all so much.
And thank the good Lord.
You know, as a dad, it's just, when the smoke clears and everything is done,
I knew better get along.
you look around and you're like, hey, by the way, my daughter hunts. My daughter traveled to Kansas with us to hunt because she loves it. And Miss Emery, Randy's daughter, she hadn't done any good, but she was going to continue to hunt. One thing, if you remember last year, Miss Emery shot an unbelievable giant last year, 190-inch deer. And this girl, she grew up around it. So when she goes hunts, she just likes to go after a big deer, just like she did the year before. And this year was no different. All the way through youth season, she just passed so many deer, they didn't even get anything down. Well, as rifle season rolled around, one night they went in, and sure enough, the buck that they wanted to shoot came out.
Good shot.
Patonk.
Check another one.
And you know, something about Emery's little smile is second to none.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A little 8-point.
And then got
The little kicker.
Well, congratulations, Emery, on a great buck there, and the patience and the endurance of a young lady like yourself. You know, from all of us here at Buck Ventures, congratulations. Well, hey guys, welcome to this week's Walk by Faith, and today I want to look at Hebrews 12:1. It says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. Guys, we make mistakes. You know, we're sinners. You know, the first thing, if we've asked Jesus into our heart and we have Him as our personal Savior, man, we have strength in that. And what I love about this is, as he talks about right here, that we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. You know, I urge you to go back in Hebrews 11, the whole chapter, and you read about Abraham and David and all these great heroes of faith. And the one thing that I can tell you is they weren't perfect. They were great heroes of faith, and they failed miserably at times, but they kept getting up and they kept their eyes on Jesus, and they kept on going. As we talk about even running a race, and that's what it is. It's not a sprint really, it's a marathon, but we keep our eyes and we keep going towards Jesus. With that, be on your knees in prayer, be in His Word, and that's how we run that race. I'm Jeff Danker, and remember, as we always say, shoot by sight, walk by faith.